Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dan Cassette at the Cambridge Sports Center, and we're ready for another Pilates class. Just want to start with our feet in parallel and begin by treading in place. So just begin to warm up the bottoms of your feet, get the calf muscles working, and as you do, see if you can rise up on your toes, travel over the top, and get the circulation all through the legs as you begin to warm up. Take some nice even breaths in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Just get the blood flowing and oxygenated through the system. Now, let the heels settle down. Briefly let your weight rock all the way back to your heels and then come forward onto the toes and all the way back to the heels. You can even pick up the toes if you need to. Rock to the front, rock back. Now rock to the front. Stay over the front portions of your feet. Don't tense in the back. Feel your abdominals begin to collect. So I want you to exhale and feel the abs engage around your center. Then I want you to rise into a little tiptoe position by pressing up with your calves. Tap the heels and rise. Tap and rise. Tap and rise. Tap and rise. 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 Rise, rise and hold. Hold at the top for a moment. Still try to feel relaxed in the sacral region and the lumbar. Still feel the abdominals collected around your front like a belt. Belly button is going to feel lifted towards the spine. And don't lean out to the little toe, guys. It's going to knock your alignment out and weaken the ankles. Press the heels towards one another so you're nice and strong right over the first two toes. Now lower the heels down. Give your Achilles tendons a little stretch as you just soften the knees and come back to standing. Another inhale here. As you exhale, the abs hug around the middle, the belly button comes to the spine, and drop your head, your neck, your chest is going to begin to curl forward, and you're going to roll down through the spine as you hang your arms towards the floor. Let your head hang. Look through your legs to the wall behind you. Bend both knees, get the tail to drop down, inhale. Exhale and pull the belly up and in towards the spine and use that to help you roll back up. Tailbone, lower back, middle back, upper back, neck, head. Let's repeat that. Try and find a nice sequence. As you exhale, release the cranium, 7 vertebrae of the neck, then one at a time, 12 vertebrae through the thoracic spine, 5 vertebrae in the lumbar, folding upside down, bend your knees, drop the tail, breathe in, and we're going to reverse the process by tucking the tail underneath us into vertical and coming up lumbar, thoracic spine, cervical spine, neck, head. Down you go. Head, neck, shoulders, middle back, lower back, hanging upside down, bend both knees. Reverse the process, lift from your abs, tuck the tail underneath, and realign the spine to vertical. Last one, down, and this time we're going to go down to the floor. So just roll down through the spine. Take your hands to the mat by bending the knees, and then reach one side or the other as you need to, and we're going to move all the way down to seated. Start with the knees open and the bottoms of the feet together, shoulders over the hips. Try not to lean forward if you're flexible. If you're tight, try not to roll back. I want you to bring the pelvis into neutral, line up the ribs right over the hip bones. Shoulders sliding down the back of the spine, right to the sacrum, tall through the neck. Breathe in, and as you exhale, the transversus abdominis hugs your middle, pulling the belly button into the spine, and the hip bones are gonna fall backwards of the pubic bone. And I want you to try and stay nice and tall through your spine. Don't slouch. Feel that your lumbar is increasing in size as it rounds to the back. Then bring your pelvis back into neutral and you're floating at your optimal relaxed position. Your abdominals engage deep. You lengthen your lumbars. You try to stay tall, but the hip bones fold backwards in a posterior tilt of the pelvis. And then return to neutral. Exhale, belly to spine, opening up the lumbar. Inhale and rise. And one more. Exhale. Inhale and rise. Now, slide your hands down your shins. Don't drop the elbows inside. Keep them open, but just melt your upper body over. Let the forehead or even the top of your head fall towards your ankles, and take 2 deep breaths to just loosen up your back, your bum, and your hips. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. You don't have to yank, you don't have to pull. Just allow gravity to allow you to just sink towards your feet. Now recollect your abdominals. Pull the belly up away from the floor towards you and rise to seated, guys. Take your feet flat to the floor. You can catch under the hamstrings or around the knees as you prefer. You can engage the biceps so you're holding on tight. And I want you to sit up nice and tall. So again, you're in neutral. We're not rounding in the lumbar yet. As you sit up tall, widen the shoulders and the collarbone. So I want you to open up and really press your breastbone forward so the sternum is tall and proud. You're reaching that sternum forward and you're strengthening your upper back this way. We often slouch in our society, so I want us to just open the shoulders and sit up tall. Breathe in here. Pull the abdominals in, the hip bones away from the legs, and round that lumbar, and try to keep as much of that height through the upper back and width through the collarbone and between the shoulder blades. Hold this curve shape and melt forward. You can bring your hands around the front of the knees if you hadn't already, and then from there, sit up tall. We're going to repeat. Exhale, pull the hip bones away from the legs with your ab strength coming deep towards the spine. Hold the curve, round forward. Your head's going to feel like the nose is just nodding between the knees. Sit up from the sacrum and elongate. Open up the collarbone and open up the shoulders wide. One more. Belly to spine. Curve. Hold the curve, round forward. Inhale and sit tall. Good. From here, round the spine again as your abs scoop in deep. Hold on tight with both hands. If you need to let the feet slide up, you may, but just ride the curve of the spine down to the floor. And if you need to, you can readjust on your mat. Feet planted, palms down. We're going to begin with a pelvic curl, but it starts from neutral, so you have this natural gap in your lumbar. Feel the belly muscles press down. As that happens, again, posterior tilt, the pelvis rocks, hip bones lower than the pubic bone. And then I'm going to push with my feet, and my glutes are going to engage to keep curling the tailbone up between my legs. I want the spine to come off the floor, one vertebrae at a time, so I'm going to lever up, feeling a little pressure down through my spine. And then I'm going to go back down, reapply the vertebrae one at a time, nice and strong through my abdominals until I return all the way to neutral and that gap can reappear. Start again, the abs activate in, the hip bones rock down, everything scoops, pressing down through the lumbar, the thoracic spine, rising to a bridge. And here I'm still engaging. I'm lifting with my glutes and my legs. I'm trying to bring not a complete diagonal, but tilting the pubic bone higher, almost like my pubic bone's coming to my nose, so that in this space, my lumbar is lengthened and I'm getting lots of activation in the glutes and the hamstrings. Breathe in and then roll down one vertebrae at a time through the spine right to the floor. Let's do one last time. Engage the core. The pelvic curl takes place. You roll through the spine and bridge into the sky. Hold here for a moment, take a breath, and then down we come. Neutral spine. Good. Open up your arms to a T, guys. Bring your knees up to tabletop position. So feel your abs hug and press firm to keep your pelvic lumbar region neutral. You can still have this gap, and the knees are at what we call tabletop position. Keep the knees even. I want you to shift to the right. So your left hip bone's coming up off the floor, but press the left shoulder down so it doesn't lose contact with the mat. The belly activates deep around your center and it's going to pull the hips back to neutral, and we'll go the other way. Spine twist supine. rotate, exhale, pull the abs down and firm, come through neutral. The lower back should be able to stay chilled out. It's not a lower back exercise. It should be a little stretch actually, and that should feel good. Feel the transversus abdominis wrap around your center like a belt or a brace, and that brings you home. Change. And activate your core. Come home. Change. Activate. Come home. Change. Activate. Come home. Good. Walk one foot down to the floor, walk the other foot down to the floor, and just have a moment to rest. Take your fingers behind your head and just lace them there. As you exhale, I want you to press the belly down and lift the chest. You're just going to rotate your nose past one leg, come home through neutral, rotate past the other. Try not to fold the elbows closed, and try not to yank and twist one across and not the other. Keep them open. They're just in your peripheral, and you want to keep both shoulders off the mat so you're not lying down on the side when you twist, or you'll cut the impact of the exercise in half. Keep high. Do a few more rotations without using your back, your bum, or your legs. Come to the middle and lie back down. Take your hands away and put them on the floor. Now, staying neutral, the abs engage. I want you to just lift your right leg up off the mat, and then you're gonna tap it 4 times. Exhale to lift. Don't let the pelvis change. Put the foot down and change legs. Lift, tap. Exhale to rise, tap, rise, tap, rise. All right, put both feet flat. Go for the pelvic curl again. Abdominals activate, hip bones drop. From here, curl up, tailbone, lower back, middle back, and create this bridge. Press a little bit down through your palms. Now, I want you to keep this pelvic curl so the glutes are activated, especially on your left leg and bum. Pick up your right leg and don't let one hip bone drop. Keep them in that pelvic curl. Think pubic bone to nose as you tap the toe and lift, tap and lift. Think of lots of space in the lumbar, so lengthen the underside. Put that foot down and change. Keep the abdominals scooped up, pubic bone to sky, and tap and lift and tap and lift. Your right glute and hamstring should get a lot of work here. Put the foot down and breathe. Make sure you still have that pelvic curl. Roll down shoulder blades, middle back, lower back, tailbone. Good. From here, bring your right knee towards you. I want you to extend the leg slightly and just catch under the hamstring, almost like if you're reading a book, so no thumbs, and stretch the other leg out on the floor. Keep that heel in contact with the mat. Flatten the belly and you can pull on the legs, and I want you to come up towards a roll-up position. Then from here, keep the abdominals flat. Exhale and change legs. Get the heel all the way down to the floor there, while the abs scoop in and try to draw the leg towards you a little deeper. We're gonna make that into a little subtle pulse. You bring the leg up, the abs bring the leg closer as you exhale, deeper. Come up, come closer. Come up, come closer. Try to use the abs, not the hands, to get that pulse. It's okay if the leg on top is a little bent, if that is not a flexibility area for you with the hamstrings, but I want you to keep working the abdominals to get that stretch, and try to get the far leg straight down on the floor so you have something to push off with that back leg. Good. Fold the knees in for a little moment of rest and lie back and just relax. Good. We're going to take that again. Hold on to the knees for a moment as you flatten your belly and bring up your chest. Stretch one leg out, stretch one leg over you. Take your fingers behind your head and change the legs. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Pulse. Remember, the pulse is not with the upper body, it's with the abs to bring the leg closer rather than bring the head closer. Now add a rotation towards the closer leg. Still not pulsing in the upper body, but pulsing in the abs. Bring your hands to your knees. Let the legs collapse to the chest into a little fold and rest. From here, let's roll to the side so you can face the camera. I want you to lie down on your mat. Take your palm up. Let the head rest on the arm. Don't roll forwards or the muscles in the back are going to end up hurting. Don't roll too far back or you use your abs here. We're going to target the sides. I want you to get the hip bone lined right up over the other hip bone. Feel your belly activate to collect, and there should be a little gap here between you and the mat. If not, lengthen that top leg so you create space, feeling the hip come away from the ribs. Then you're going to let the feet come up about 2 inches so you're into a little hover. There's space in the middle here under your waist. Use your obliques to press that space closed, and the legs are going to tilt upwards, then lower to the hover. Press and lower. Press and lower. Press and lower. Press and lower. Couple more. Now rest. Put the legs down briefly and have a little moment. From here, bend both knees. Thinking about the hamstring and glute connections, feel the back of the leg open the top knee to like a little oyster shell here, and then let it close. Still feel the abs lifting to hold you stable in the middle. Don't let the lower back tense. Don't let the hip bone roll forward and back. Just open in the hip joint and close. Open and close. Open. Close, open, close. From here, press off this top hand and come up to your elbow. Keep the knees together, but I want you to create a straight line now from knees to hips to shoulders. The legs can be bent 90 degrees just to give you a little prop or balancing kickstand. Support from the lat, so pull down here to lift up the shoulder and feel your obliques lift this side so you have a nice straight support. And I want you to exhale and lift your hip bones and draw a semicircle with the top arm. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. 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 Inhale, lower. Set the hip down, bring the knees to the front, hop on your mat to the other side, and let's immediately reverse. Going to the elbow first, knees in line with the body, abdominals lifted, lat pulled down, supporting the shoulder. Feel the core muscles activate to lift your hip bones up. Try to get a nice tall arc through the body, and lower. Exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale. I want to keep my shoulders stacked one on top of the other, so even though I'm allowing my head to look with the direction of the hand, I'm not rotating in my rib cage. I'm using my abdominals and my obliques to lift my hip high and lower down and lift and lower down. We're going to slide to the floor now. Bring the knees up a little bit. And we're going to do our hip rotators. So the abs remain lifted, so we're not going to rock forward and back in the hip joint, the hip bone, but the hip joint is free to mobilize as the hamstring and piriformis wrap and rotate under the glute to open the leg. Keep your belly lifted so that the pelvis and the lower back doesn't change and your abs remain activated. Now from here, stretch out both legs. Create a nice long line. Lengthen the top hip out away from the ribs, create this little gap underneath you, and as you exhale, bring your feet up 2 inches, then press your waist into the floor, let the gap reappear. Exhale. 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 Lower down. Nice. From here, I want you to go ahead and just roll to your belly. Take your hands out in front of you. Don't let your nose touch the floor, but point it at the mat. Now from here, I just want you to press down with your palms and pull down with your shoulder blades. Try to create a lot of space between your ears and your neck. Lift your abdominals up so that your pubic bone is into the mat, but your hip bones are trying to pull up away from the mat. Then I want you to lift your legs without losing that connectivity of your abdominals and that tilt of your pelvis. So if possible, get your knees to come off the floor, then lower them. Lift them and lower them. So without pinching or cramping in the lower back, the belly stays lifted, hip bones trying to come off the floor, the hamstrings and glutes are activated, and you can press down with your hands, pull down with your shoulders to support the upper back, and lift the hams and glutes, lift. Backs of the legs getting some good work here. Lift and lift. Good. From here, take your hands under your shoulders, push back, have a seat towards your heels, and just let your elbows and head bury down to the floor, and take a moment to breathe and relax. Come up towards all fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Pelvis is neutral here, so you have a straight back. Don't drop through to forward tilt of the pelvis. Pick the belly up so that you're supported and you're neutral. Now widen the space between your shoulder blades. From here, keeping your pelvis steady, I want you to step back to the ball of your right foot. Don't change anything in your body. Remain in a long diagonal from heels to head as you step your left foot out. Have the legs just meet at a nice long plank position. Keep your shoulders wide, and I want you to bring your right knee in to skim the mat as you exhale. Inhale and send it out. Exhale with the left. Inhale, send it out. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, inhale, skimming in, skimming out, skimming in, skimming out. Bring your right knee down now, bring your left knee down, and once more sit back into your rest position, bottom to your feet, hands, elbows, forehead to the floor. A nice breath. Good. From here, I want you to come on up, bring your feet through to a little crouch, and swap over to seated once more. Take your knees close to you and draw your legs up so just the toes are at the floor. Pull your belly away from your legs and let the lumbar round to create that round shape. You can hold on to the ankles, and I want you to just gently rock backwards to where you're about to roll, but don't fall. Keep your abdominals and your leg dimensions the same as you come back to tap the toes. Rock gently backwards. Make that an inhale without lifting your shoulders. Exhale. Return to your coccyx balance, toes just on the mat. The higher you can bring your legs, the closer to you, the more exercise you'll get. Lean back. Come right back to your balance. Try not to bury your upper body into your knees. Keep a long curve in the upper body. Now, if you have any herniated disc or lower back issues, I would just do this balance exercise, tilting slightly and tilting back But if you don't, go ahead and go for the full rolling like a ball. You're gonna roll back to your shoulders, exhale, and try to come back up without catapulting or kicking with the legs. Keep the same dimensions. You're gonna inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep the toes pointed down, the heels close to your bum, and your elbows and shoulders down and wide. 2 more. Good. From here, stretch your legs out. I'll turn to face you. From just a V position, nice and tall through the spine, open your arms to a wide shape. Keep the abdominals and obliques lifted up, helping you sit tall in your back. If you need to shorten your legs by bending the knees so that you can have a tall spine, you can do that. Alternatively, you can sit on a cushion, but I want you to press your sternum forward so you're tall and proud in the chest. And keep the belly to your spine as you rotate to face one leg. Bring that hand through and reach outside the little toe as you lean forward. You don't have to get to the foot with the hand, but just want you to lean in that direction. The back thumb can turn down to the floor. Keep the belly lifted and rise up to seated, guys. Unfold, keep the breastbone and collarbone pressed forward so you're tall in the upper back, wide across the shoulders. Rotate the other direction, turn the back thumb down as you lean for the outside of the foot. Lift up, open, float home. Rotate, dive, lift, open home, rotate, dive, lift, open home. Take your hands down, swing your legs to one side and get them underneath you into a little crouch. And we'll finish by reassuming a standing position. But start by lifting your belly and your pelvis. So your bum's gonna come up and your head stays down. Soft knees is fine. Lift up through the abdominals and tuck the tail under you and roll or unfurl through the spine from the lumbar, through the thoracic spine, the middle back and the neck and the head, arriving at the top last of all. Take a nice deep breath in and let it go. Thank you very much. I'm Dan Cassette at the Cambridge Sports Center. Have a great day.